Hello chemistry students. Today we're going to learn how to draw electron dot structures. Electron dot structures are another model of the atom, but unlike the Bohr model where the focus is on the placement of all of the electrons that are present in an atom, electron dot structures are focusing primarily on the valence electrons of atoms. If you remember from a previous lecture, I explained that the valence electrons of the atoms are the ones that participate in chemical reactions. They're the ones that form chemical bonds between one atom and another, and that's how we get compounds and molecules that we use in our everyday lives. So I found this chart online and I thought it was a good one to kind of start things out. Over in my left-hand column, I have the chemical symbol for a molecule here, H2. It's made up of 2 hydrogen atoms. And then in the center column, you can see that they've made electron dot structures, also known as electron dot diagrams, for each atom. And then at the end of the arrow, it shows how the 2 electron dot structures are put together to create the molecule of hydrogen. And then over at the end, we see that we have switched out the dots for a dash. This is called a stick model. And typically when we're showing these kinds of bonds, we will trade out the dots for dashes. But sometimes you have dots that are going to stay. If you look at the molecule below, which is a molecule of chlorine, you'll see that we have a dash, but some of the dots are going to stay. And the way that you draw your electron dot structure for each element is going to dictate which dots stay and which ones go. So I just wanted to start by drawing a Bohr model for you. So let's draw a Bohr model of nitrogen. Nitrogen has 7 protons and it has 7 electrons then. My first 2 electrons will go into the first ring, and then there's only one other ring that we have in nitrogen, and I'm going to draw that outermost ring, the valence shell, in a different color, and now I'll place my electrons in it. There we are. There's our 7 electrons for the Bohr model for nitrogen. Now, if I'm going to convert the Bohr model of nitrogen to the electron dot structure for nitrogen, this is what I would do. I would draw the abbreviation for nitrogen, which is capital N, and now I'm going to add dots around the N to represent those electrons that live in the valence shell. Or if you look at our Bohr model, I'm only going to include those electrons that are found in the pink ring, in the outermost shell, also known as the valence shell. So I have 5. Now I want you to pay very close attention to the pattern that I'm using when I place these electrons. You kind of have to think about your abbreviation being in a square box, and you're going to put 1 electron on each side first, and then you would continue on and double them up. So let me erase these marks and show you what I mean by that. So in nitrogen, we have 5 valence electrons because I've got 5 blue dots on the pink ring. And here's how I'll place them. Top, side, bottom, other side, and top. And there you are. That is the electron dot structure for nitrogen. So just remember that in an electron dot structure, you have valence electrons only. Notice that the nitrogen atom has 7 electrons total, but in an electron dot structure, I'm only drawing the valence electrons. Now recently, I showed you how to determine how many valence electrons an atom has just by looking at the periodic table. So the cool thing about this method is that you don't have to always draw Bohr models in order to figure out how many valence electrons there are. So let's scroll the page so that we're focused here on the periodic table. Notice in red I have the group numbers listed on top of each column. And so let's say that I wanted to draw the electron dot structure for beryllium. So beryllium is here in the second column, and I've got the number 2 at the top. What this means is that the beryllium atom has 2 valence electrons. So if I were to draw the electron dot structure for beryllium, I would draw out Be for the symbol, and then I would draw 2 electrons. Remember the pattern, top and side. That is the correct electron dot diagram for beryllium. If you were to draw beryllium like this, that would be incorrect. You would not get points for that answer. If you drew beryllium like this, if you did maybe top or side, then that would be perfectly acceptable. You could also do side to side. That would be fine as well. You could do side and bottom, like so. That's totally fine, but the idea is this. You have to put the electrons one on each side first, and then you can go back and double up. That's a really, really important thing. All right, let's try one more, and then I'll set you loose to work on your assignment for today. So let's say that I wanted to draw the electron dot diagram for sulfur. Sulfur is in group 6. We have a 6 above that column. So I'll draw an S for sulfur, and then I have to draw 6 electrons for my electron dot structure. And there I go. All right, I hope that this proves to be a helpful video. Good luck on your assignment, and I'll talk to you in class.